and welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jimmy Qualls, and our resident basketball now turned spring sports expert, Tate Mathews. Spring Fling. The invasion of the WCS Sports Conference is pretty phenomenal of the Spring Fling. Over 70 individuals, 7 teams with 1 team still left in the balance with Fairview Soccer. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Now, let's talk about something that's already happened up to this point. The state pentathlon and the decathlon have gone. Guess who won the AAA on both the pentathlon and decathlon?
WCS Sports Conference.
WCS Sports Conference. Avery McMullen from Centennial wins the state pentathlon on the female side, along with Meg Wilson, placed in 11th from Brentwood, and Jet Kinder. No surprise there, first place decathlete.
Kinder's a sophomore. Runner-up? I believe he was runner-up as a freshman. Sophomore comes back and wins at AAA decathlon. Decathlete, you were a high jumper back in your day, so you know how hard that is, man. That's impressive. I mean, and you got to think he's the favorite for next year. Winning that thing as a sophomore, that's unbelievable, man. That's big time. Of course, that's his dad's deal. He's been training him to be a decathlete, for a long, long time. But anyways, that's very impressive. Congratulations to him and to Avery. That's awesome. We probably need to do some research, but I'm willing to bet that's the first time we've won the decathlon and the pentathlon in the same year.
And this is a record amount of group of individuals and teams going to the Spring Fling as well. Now, unfortunate to Brentwood, they were hoping to go first, second, and third in a decathlon, but we had a couple injuries that kind of messed that up. So Jet Kinder pulls his part, gets first place. You've got to think about that in the future. Those guys coming back, that they could easily sweep 1 through 3 on this particular. I mean, you're pretty good at an event. Just think about being good at all the events.
That's right. 10 of them.
Could you find 10 events that you're good at?
No. Maybe if we're
you could do the standing
cornhole
jump,
one of them.
The softball toss, 3-legged race.
Yeah.
The field day stuff.
Egg
Tug
toss.
of war. Yeah.
Egg toss.
Dizzy bat. Okay. Baseball.
Water balloon toss.
Look at the baseball side. Ravenwood defeats Brentwood. Mr. May shows up, beats Brentwood in the region championship game 5-3 to set up that sectional at home. Brentwood has to go on the road. Brentwood goes to Wilson Central, pulls their part, beats Wilson Central 2-0 to punch their ticket again to get into the state tournament. They are the reigning AAA state champions from last year. Ravenwood loses, however, to Rossview. It seems to be at this time of the year, those Clarksville, Montgomery County teams are really, really stout.
Well, especially when you're talking Clarksville and Rossview. It seems to be them every year. And then Clarksville was one of the top teams in AAA all year. They won that district and really had a considerably better season than Rossview, but it just goes to show postseason time. And it sounds crazy, but I really do, not to take anything away from Brentwood, because I think Brentwood's getting ready to win it again. But out of those two, I'd have rather seen Wilson Central than Rossview. So it's kind of funny. You win the region and you host, but you kind of almost have a worse draw. So, but anytime you get when you get to that time of year, our region draws usually not that tough, right? But our sectional draw, those are usually 4 really, really good baseball teams. And then I know you're going to get to it, but what a great draw Brentwood got. This thing's set up really nice.
I need to check with Mr. Producer to see if there's any other Montgomery County team in there other than Rossview. I know that Rossview, and I know that, if I'm not mistaken, Clarksville High always is really, really stout up there with that team. And I'm not sure that they advanced. I'll have to get.
They didn't.
Okay.
It was Wilson Central and Rossview.
Okay, so Wilson Central beat Clarksville High to get.
One of them did.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Wilson Central beat.
Well, you mentioned the good draw. Brentwood did draw Seymour off the bat in the opening round of play this week. You feel pretty confident that that's going to keep them in the winner's bracket?
I got to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about Seymour, but I know this. They haven't played the schedule that Brentwood has played, and also going back to that sectional game, it's been like this for quite some time now. There's so many great players on that team. I think one guy we sometimes – I don't like to use the word overlook, but, when you start talking about some of those other guys, Caleb Pearson was a boss. He really has.
How well has he been playing?
Coach Kirby told me, which, I always go back to him, he said that guy might be, he's the dude. He really likes him, and he had a big game.
You know, he has played phenomenal. He really has. Pitching, hitting, coming through. They seem to come through at the right time, not just for him, but all those guys. And I agree with you. I really think you look at this, don't know enough about all the teams. We'll find out because I'm going to go and watch. But you'll find out real quick whether or not their chances are really good to repeat on this thing. And I think right now, on the surface, really, really good to be the state champions again.
I think so. Like I said, I think it's a great draw. I didn't even look at all the AAA teams. But again, you know, Seymour, you know where that is?
It's East Tennessee.
Sevier County, baby.
Right.
Yeah. So they have not played the schedule.
You know where Rossview is?
Montgomery County.
Okay. All right.
Exit 8.
Okay.
Usually when you're talking East Tennessee, there's one name to watch out for. And it's not Seymour, it's Farragut. So,
Right, always. Is Farragut still alive? I believe they are.
I didn't look.
You know, it's interesting to watch. I watched them play. I guess it was against Summit a few years ago to watch that style of play that they have up there for the Farragut team. Wristbands, the first baseball team I've seen with the wristbands and all the calling numbers. Not sure that's even legit, but whatever, it looked good. Softball, Brentwood beats Beach 6-1 in sectionals. That's an interesting little matchup there because why?
Erica Powell used to be the coach at Beach.
You want to talk about somebody that's get it done on the female side? I don't know. Late in the season, things get overlooked. I'm going to throw myself out this with the Willcos. Erica Powell, the job that she has done in 2 years. I know we say it every show. People are getting sick of it, return the channel, whatever. Erica Powell and the job that she does, job, it's the energy that she brings to this team. These girls love playing for Erica Powell. Hannah Koenig, the two seniors. I mean, it's just watch. Go watch. That's all I can tell you. And the passion that she has, I'm not sure, on the surface, once again, I'm not sure that anybody prepares for her game as much as she does. You know, when Hannah on the coach's preview show, she's talking about all the scouting that she does and goes and charts the pitches and does. Now, I know that's commonplace here, but I really, really think that she's probably ahead of the curve on this.
No doubt about it.
You were talking about a great draw. She has a phenomenal draw off the bat, which is so important, getting off on the right foot.
Yep.
She plays. She drew Dyer County, and I tried to help her a little bit. Very small with the scouting report.
I'm sure she appreciated it.
West Tennessee, right? So I called my guys in Lexington, and they're like, they don't need to be worried about that game, and they need to be worried about the next one. Now, you got to be careful with that stuff. You don't want to fall in that trap, but you know, probably shouldn't have been there. Lexington beat them twice. Some other teams around beat them. They just kind of got hot at the right time in the tournament and got themselves in. So that's my scouting report for her. I don't know if they're any good or not, but don't be worried about them. Just do your thing. Do you think she's going to like that scouting report?
Yes, I'm sure she really it'll serve her well.
Yeah.
You know, I think you're right. West Tennessee, usually the winner of softball does not come, in AAA, does not come from West Tennessee.
Right.
It's usually middle or east, and I think this year is going to hold true. But yeah, well, if you remember, I mean, I think they're winning it. So
this big time. You know, before last year, that was the only sport that eluded even qualifying.
Right.
She gets in last year, makes a good run, gets a win. This year, you're calling it. You're just calling it. Boom.
Yes.
Lady Bruins.
Lady Bruins. And here's the great thing about softball. You got to have two, right? But you don't have to worry about the pitching that you have to worry about. And they got a pretty good.
And the beast herself, the Raging Cajun.
That's right.
They're gonna ride her all the way up to the championship game, and if she's on, ain't no touching.
You're in trouble. That's right. And they score runs too. So, which you have to, you're gonna have to be able to do both this time of year. But I think that you're right. That what would be nice is take care of Dyer County early, finish that off early, not have to throw a whole lot of pitches, save the arm, efficiency, and then roll. But yes, I think they're gonna win. I really do.
Well, someone had
and we need to check on that too. Has anybody ever won AAA baseball and softball? Man, that'd be unbelievable.
Not only that, from the conference, that'd be from the same school. Is that what you're?
Yeah, same school. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Summit, Coach Stevens did a great job getting them ready to go for the tournament, running the tournament, getting themselves in the sectional game. Obviously, they lost to Brentwood 10-0 in the regional championship game. They had to go to Henry County, go all the way up there. Delayed, had to come back, go the next day, go all the way back up there. They end up losing that game to Henry County 10-0. And I can promise you, if Brentwood gets a chance, one conference, one goal, they will repay them. But hats off to Lady Spartans of Summit of school history being made of making it that far.
Yeah, what a run they went on, and like we talked about, I think they only had 9 wins before they even got to the postseason, and so nobody went on the run that they did in the postseason. They did, and you mentioned having to get to Henry County. That is, if you've never been to Paris,
it's a haul.
You
can't even get there.
There's no easy way to get there. It's every bit of
go Clarksville, hang a left, or go to Camden, hang a right. It's one of the two.
That's right.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you don't just stumble on there.
I'm going to put you on your place right now.
All right.
Paris, home of what?
Home of what? Well,
It's the world's largest something.
Fish fry.
There you go. Congratulations.
It's also home of the Kreisky brothers.
Oh, I forgot.
And Dr. Defense Donnie Webb.
It is.
And
his wife.
Dr. Lee Webb.
That's correct. Henry County has produced some fine citizens.
Without a doubt. Some of our best people here. But anyways, that's a hard enough trip as is.
Right.
To get there, have to sit around and go into school or wherever they went during that rain delay, and then have to get back in the car, drive back. I'm assuming it was late because they probably waited as long as they could to cancel, and then have to go back. That's tough, man. That's tough on anybody. But great year.
On the soccer side, on 11 AAA, Brentwood beats Hendersonville 1-0 to punch their ticket. There's a common theme that I keep saying here. Brentwood, this has to be the best spring that Brentwood's ever seen. Of course, we'll get to this in a little bit, talking about the Willcos, Division I Conference Directors Cup.
Wasn't close.
If it was close, it would no longer be close.
Right. It's over.
Brentwood, like I said, beats Hendersonville 1-0. They host Rossview in the opening round of the state tournament on the AAA side. What do you think?
I think
it's one thing that we have not won since we've been here either. We've gotten into the game 3 separate times, have not won it. Is this the year?
Since you've been here.
Since I've been
right.
here.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I know that we used to dominate it back in the day.
That's right.
But can we, is this the year?
I think so. Soccer's tough now. I mean, all these guys are just like Hendersonville. I mean, and that used to be a great rivalry, Brentwood and Hendersonville. So neat to see that Rossview. Rossview is to Clarksville High what Ravenwood is to Brentwood. And if you know, Clarksville High plays really good soccer too. Anyways, Rossview's going to be good. And when you get into soccer, so many of these games come down to 1-0, 2-1, overtime and penalty kicks. So, yeah, I think they can. This team's talented enough. Obviously, Coach Purcell's been there. And I'm so happy for him, man. He's one of my favorite guys in coaching. Great to see Coach P get back there. And
does things the right way.
He does things the right way, without a doubt. And you can always – I've always said this about Brentwood High that I think is pretty cool. You go to a football game, and you'll see all the other head coaches there. You go to a soccer game, and if it's at home, they're supporting them, and football and soccer get along well, which isn't always the same.
It's one of those unspoken things, though. You talk about mutual respect when they show up at your event.
Without a doubt.
Regardless of how abstract or how small the venue may be for a particular sport, that just goes to show, you go on a Friday night football, you've got 10,000 people there. You go to a soccer game, there might be a couple of hundred.
Right.
But that goes to show you the mutual respect that these coaches have for one another.
Totally agree. And they really have it there. And it's really to watch the relationship between Crawford and Purcell. For soccer, football, it's neat. So, yeah, I think they can. I think they have a really good chance. I would say out of all these sports, though, soccer is the one that, really a couple of plays more than anything else can determine the state tournament soccer game. So, going to have to be on their A game. Rossview's going to be tough. If they get past that, they got a good shot.
On the AA side, you got Fairview now. Well, you're talking about an interesting story this weekend. Fairview hosted Martin Luther King this past weekend, right? Matter of fact, they had to push it all the way to Sunday. Game was originally scheduled for Friday, pushed it Saturday to Sunday. They get up there Sunday, The game is then pushed back for a lightning delay. They finally get out there and play. Fairview takes the lead 1-0 at half. MLK comes back out, ties it up 1-1, and then gets into overtime, and lightning happens again. So now they've got to come back and play this game and finish it out before the state tournament to see who qualifies. In overtime, sudden death. Now think about that. You're going to have a 24-hour window of time that you're going to have to get yourself and your mind back up, because in 5 seconds, one mistake will cost you a trip to the tournament.
Without a doubt. And depending on what time the winner of this game is going to play Sheffield depending on what time that kickoff is, some of them are at 4:30.
Less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours.
Yep.
And, you know, depending on, if they're in overtime, then they're going to double overtime, which that's going to be an overtime period. And then it'll go to, it's not like they're just coming back and doing penalty kicks. So they're going to have to play. They're going to, you know, if that thing goes the whole time, they're going to be doing some running. But again, you know what? I think they're just glad to be there. They got a chance. They're still in it, right?
That would be awesome. That would add to our total 8 teams, and also add to the year that the Fairview Yellow Jackets have had athletically.
Well, you were talking about Brentwood. I'd say the same thing. It's got to be the best athletic year Fairview's ever had.
Period, from top to bottom.
That's right.
On the tennis side, Brentwood High School girls tennis, obviously the favorites going in, heavy favorites going in. They're going to open up with Dobbins Bennett. Any name in particular on that team that sticks out for you?
Brentwood or Dobbins Bennett?
For Brentwood.
Summer Henry.
Obviously. Now,
she's pretty good.
Here's the interesting thing. She did not qualify for the individual tournament due to an injury. She's back. She's going to be helping this team play for the team aspect, which is
in doubles, right?
Yes. So somebody down the road is looking at the list for individuals saying, thank goodness, somebody else is going to try to win this thing, right?
Yeah, and somebody in doubles is going, huh? Where did this come from?
Right,
this can't be right.
So she's going to Indiana, obviously. I cannot wait to see how she unfolds her career there in the Big Ten. You know, I think she'll make a splash. What do you think?
Oh, without a doubt. And you know, I think a lot of people know about Indiana because of basketball, obviously, but their facilities in tennis and most of her sports are unbelievable. So she, we talked to her about that on the red carpet at the Willcos. She just fell in love with the coach, loved him, and the staff. And you know, that it wasn't because she didn't have a whole lot of other options. That's where she wanted to go, and she's going to be very successful there, without a doubt.
Ravenwood boys tennis, they open up with White Station, Cliff Herring and crew. Heavy favorites on the boys' side as well.
Yep.
I think we sweep WCS Sports Conference. You can book it. I hate to be, I'm pretty superstitious. I'm going to knock on wood just for you, but I'm just telling you. Boys tennis, girls tennis, I believe we get a sweep there in that. Now, let's look down the list. Anything pop out to you on the list? We're going to try to go through some of this. I'm going to go real quick. Just look at who all is going to be in this.
Well, there is at least one bucket on there.
I'm going to say that I'm going to predict that you're going to say Catherine Coffey of Brentwood High School in the discus is 30 feet.
If she shows up, you can book that one.
As long as we don't fault. If she faults, I'm blaming you.
She's not
and I'm going to send her dad after you.
She's going to kill it.
All right, so not only is she up, let's look at favorites here. Let's I think we could potentially be favorites on a lot of these.
Okay.
But Catherine Coffey, shot put and discus, reigning AAA champion in both. I think that's the first time in history.
Yep.
What about defending in both?
Book it.
Shot put is a little closer. I think it's 2 to 3 feet, but I think you're right. I think we get a little juices flowing. That thing's going to end up being 10 feet before it's over with.
Well,
Louisville signee, Catherine Coffey, Brentwood High School.
Louisville signee, and the neat thing, her brother Skylar qualified
in both.
On the boys, and you know, Otis, their father. You know, he's the SRO there. Great guy. He's a Franklin Rebel.
What happens if they sweep both?
I mean,
do you remember? I'm going to throw this one at you. Do you remember that we had a brother-sister duo?
Yeah, they were from Page, weren't they?
They were pole vaulters.
Page. Don't remember.
Okay.
Hey. I think that would be pretty strong. And I'd love to know how often have we ever had a brother-sister do that in the shot put in the discus.
There's no way it's ever happened.
Yeah, I don't think so.
If they won both?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way that's ever
big.
happened. Keep on looking at this list. We mentioned earlier, Avery McMullen won the pentathlon. She's also in several events, individual events, and probably could be the favorite to win those. The long jump she's in, it's one of those that I see here. She's also in the 400-meter. Toughest race, second toughest race in track behind the 300 hurdles.
300, yeah, I would agree with that. Are you asking me, do I think she wins one of those?
I'm
oh, yeah.
TJ Sheffield, a household name. You see his name there twice. 200 meters, and also for the long jump
He's in
as
the 100.
well.
He's in the 100 as well.
In the 100, so he's in 3 events.
Davis Bove.
I
would think he's got a good chance.
We represent every event on the boys' side with the exception of about 2. We do not have a 100-meter hurdle, 110 hurdle representative from the WCS Sports Conference that is.
And almost every school represented in track too.
So here's an interesting note as well. Boys on the AA side, Fairview boys track with who on it?
Darius James.
4x2, 4x1. Both of those are sprints. Both of those are tough events. Fairview boys are up there. They're sitting in about 5th or 6th on the pole position, if you will, coming into this thing. That only separates them by 2 seconds. Now, people say that's just a little bit. But in sprints, that's a long time. But can you cover 2 seconds? Absolutely, you can cover up 2 seconds.
Yeah, but it's going to be fun to watch. And that, hey, Friday, I love Friday over at the track at MTSU. And you know from your times in West Tennessee, there's going to be some, when you get in that AA, there's some West Tennessee sprints that are going to come over here.
The 4x1 is by far the best of
Without a doubt. And then another name, a very familiar name to Fairview, that's going to be a force to be reckoned with is Pearl Cones, 4x1, 4x2. So if you're looking for something to do on Friday, the track meet will be fun, a good time had by all up at MTSU.
Another name that's household name, particular to Willcos, Gigi Maddox Page in the 1600 and 32. So she's got the mile and 2 mile with a chance to win gold in both of those.
I feel like she's been at the Willcos for 5 years straight.
Well, she has been. Good to her. I mean,
Auburn signee?
Yes. Yes. Well, speaking of the Willcos, let's finish up our Willcos portion from last week. We're going to take over at this particular time at the Football Defensive Player of the Year, our favorite category once we get into the football side of things. Some of these past winners, Tyrell Dotson being one of those on the defensive side of the ball. Really strong candidates. Anthony McCarthy from Ravenwood, Robert Holmes Summit, Jariel Wilson Centennial, Tristan Mann Fairview.
Strong. All of them leaders. Jariel back. You want me to say who won? Or
yeah,
is it,
go
okay.
ahead.
Anthony McCarthy gets the win from Ravenwood. That was a really tough category, but I think you had to give it to him. 175 tackles in 13 games. Do you know what the math is on that?
Please do it for me.
It's a little bit under 14 tackles a game.
That's pretty stout.
Now, I don't care if you're just lucking into something, without a doubt. Great player. And that means he had some guys up front blocking for him, but Jariel's the only one back. I tell you this, Coach Hughes will tell you Tristan Mann's going to be as difficult to replace on defense as Darius James. And then Robert Holmes had a great year at Summit. Jariel's got to be the heads-on or the odds-on favorite to win it next year. He's back.
It's just as tough a category for defense is the offense to me.
Correct.
You look at the offensive side of the ball. George Odemegwu, Summit, Nick Stallcup, Ravenwood, Carson Shacklet, the quarterback for Brentwood, and then, of course, Darius James Fairview. That is a very stout group. Go for it.
Carson Shacklet, can't go wrong with that. Over 3,000 yards total offense as the quarterback, 31 TDs, I believe, 25 passing and 6 rushing. And he could have rushed for more, but that's not what they asked him to do. But what a great leader of the team he was on offense and multi-sport guy. You couldn't have gone wrong with any. I really do. I don't know if you can do it, but if there was a teammate of the year award category, I'd give it to Nick Stallcup, man. I mean, what that guy did for that team this year. I don't think they have the success. We've talked about it a lot. I don't think they have the success they had without him. But Carson, very deserving. What a great year he had. Going to play baseball at Belmont. Darius James, obviously, had a great year in football. And then George Odemegwu had over 1,000 yards, and he wasn't even the primary rusher until after week 9.
He's coming back.
He's a dude.
He's coming back. He's the only one out of that group that's coming back.
That's right.
Could he be the favorite for this next category? Which is the biggest, probably, individual outside of Athlete of the Year would be Football Player of the Year. That group consisted of Darius James, Carson Shacklet, Ty Carter, Tennessee Tech signing, obviously that was the injured part of the year. Hats off to him. I mean, if he doesn't get injured, he wins this award. I think hands down.
Hands down. He had almost 1,500 yards.
Hurt. But he didn't. And I think the winner was rightfully so in this category. I think the voters got it right. First and largest win in Fairview school history in the Willcos. Darius James gets the nod.
Darius James, what a player he was, and what a tuxedo he had on.
Oh man,
yeah,
perfect.
He
one of the best of the night.
He had the all white street tuxedo jacket on. He had the shades rocking.
Yeah,
he was cool, man. I mean, he's going to go down as one of the best players to ever wear a Fairview football jersey.
No doubt. Girls soccer. Peyton DePriest at MTSU this year won the Conference USA Rookies of the Year. She was last year's winner, this year's winner. Or excuse me, the nominees: Megan Henry, Avery McMullen, Centennial. You just now realized that, didn't you?
Yes.
Katie Hall, Fairview, 2 times finalist. Megan Henry gets the win. Great story that she has.
Great story. Quite possibly my favorite interview of the red carpet. She's awesome.
I
didn't
so
know
too.
she's already there. I did not know that, but sophomore year, she basically starts talking to some schools, a lot of smaller schools around, and tell her, hey, you will never play college soccer.
Right.
And she said, okay, fine, and got mad. And now she's at Mississippi State, and she early enrolled and playing great. And she kind of was
What a story.
threw a little shade at the OVC schools around here. So good for her. She was
Western
great.
for sure.
Yeah, she told Western.
Thanks.
Great job of evaluating talent.
That's fantastic. What a story. I love it. On the girls' basketball side, last year was Kiera Downey. She returned as a nominee, Tennessee Tech signee. Holly Harris, Izzy Franco from Brentwood, Grace Baird from Knowlesville. This was a really, really, really good group right here. This is one of the strongest groups we had all night.
Without a doubt, and Grace Baird, the only one coming back. So
You think she'll be the odds-on favorite to win it next year?
it's going to be a tough category. She'll probably have some competition from her teammates.
Exactly.
And anyways, you know what's interesting? Both of their dads, Zoe Pillar, and Grace Baird, both of their dads were SEC offensive linemen. So
That's pretty neat.
that's pretty neat. But Kiera Downey, right, and 2-time winner. I don't know if we've ever had that in women's basketball, but really those 3 seniors. No. You know, don't disrespect to Grace. She's going to be fine. She's going to be back next year, like you said, one of the favorites. But I don't think you could have gone wrong with any one of those 3 seniors. I don't think Izzy's stats stack up with Kiera's and Holly's.
Different role.
And as far as importance to her team,
Oh, man. Absolutely. Go-getter, on-ball defender, best defender usually in the half court. And then she was a great rebounder. I think that's one of those things that the
she was the toughness of their team.
On the boys' basketball side, last year's winner, Grayson Murphy, obviously going to Belmont. Reese Glover, Franklin High School, David Winley, Brentwood, Jaden Lewis of Summit, Nate Bladorn, Nolensville. That's a strong group, too.
Reese the winner. He's back. First round pick of the team, Mathews all WCS team. Averaged 25 points, 82% free throw, right under 50% 3-point. Great defender on the 1-3-1 press.
Come on, let's go. I don't disagree with you.
But another great category.
It really is. David Winley, obviously going to Wash U in St. Louis.
Jaden Lewis going to Walter State.
Walter State, great group. Nate Bladorn, first Division I offer this past weekend. Just one of many fixing to come.
He's Team Mathews too on WCS team. That's right.
That's great. Girls wrestling, Zanaya Shropshire, last year's winner. She's returning. This year, she's a 3-time finalist from Independence, Peyton Marsh of Page, Nevaeh Brinson Summit, Hope Henderson Fairview, and the winner goes to?
Zanaya Shropshire, and I take that back. Tied for my favorite interview on the red carpet.
She's fantastic.
She is awesome.
Fantastic.
What a great personality.
Love that girl. She's going to be moving on, going to be signed with McMurray College to wrestle on the female side of things. That's a cool story.
Yes, I'm very happy for
All
her.
right, we're going to eventually get through this. When we come back next week, we're going to go with the boys wrestling. We're going to finish this out. We're going to start with it and then do the scoreboard afterwards, so to make sure we get finished. But thank you for joining us this week, Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.